call me crazy, but is the N-word cool now? Like, is it cool to say it? I think there's a certain group of people at the very least who now think it's cool. I'm not saying it is cool to say or nice or anything like that, or that you should say it, but I think there's a whole group of people who have completely flipped on the idea on whether or not you can say it or not. You know, a while back, like 3 years ago or something, I got in big trouble for saying it as part of a stupid joke, and it was a bad joke. I admitted that at the time. It's a bad joke, but I got in big trouble for saying it from this group of guys who I never really believed thought it was bad that I said it. And then as time progressed, as things went on, I noticed, like, those guys are now saying it all the time. In fact, I've seen them say it about the same guy I said it about as a joke. And so now I'm left perplexed here because I got in this huge... I mean, if you Google me, right? If you Google Pod Awful or Jesse PS or something, like, eventually, and I don't think it's even that far down in the search results, eventually you'll find this controversy I'm talking about. It's pretty easy. If you don't already know what I'm talking about, very simple to figure it out. And you'll see all of these, oh, God, he's the worst. He's the worst. The other day, I called into the Kill stream, and I'm talking to Ethan Ralph, and Ethan's bragging to me about how he said the N-word in front of 3,000 people, like I'd be impressed or something. I don't know what the thought process was there, but I've realized, you know, Ethan, his favorite guest to have on his show is this guy, Dick Masterson, who we love making fun of here. He's a goon of our show. And I realized that, like, something changed. And I think it actually happened in about 2017 when I got in this trouble. Sometime around back then, you know, I think as the result of Trump being elected, we all kind of got put into two camps, okay? Concentration. And, no, I'm kidding. We got to put into these two camps where it's like you are either free speech or you are not. Now, obviously, I have always fallen into that camp long before 2017, that's for sure. And then there was a bunch of guys who probably felt the same way, but at a certain point, you had to be able to wear this badge to prove it. And I think the badge is your willingness to at least maybe not say the N-word, but tolerate it being said. So this guy, Dick Masterson, is kind of the reason I got in all this trouble for saying the N-word. He publicized this. I said it about his friend. He made it a big deal, and I got kicked off of Patreon because he tells his listeners it's a good idea to report Patreons for people saying the N-word. Now, here we are in 2020. I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I actually turned out pretty good from getting my Patreon taken down. It might have actually been the greatest business thing that has ever happened to me, to be quite honest. I'm doing really well as a result of that. So that's not a complaint. I'm trying to figure out the world I'm in right now, because now guys like Dick Masterson, not just him, but guys like him too, they use the N-word to promote that they are free speech guys. I mean, Dick Masterson, after getting me kicked off of Patreon, started his own platform called New Project 2. And the way he advertises it to people is you can say the N-word on it. It's a crazy hypocritical mess, of course. I mean, I'm looking right in front of me here, there's one of these New Project 2s, newproject2.com/here's what I don't get. And this is some podcast or something, and the way they promote this on New Project 2 is, and here at New Project 2, you are guaranteed to never have us be censored because Tim likes to say the N-word. So this is officially endorsed, you know. We are not denying this. We are endorsing this. If you're Dick Masterson, you're saying, I'm fine with this. Okay? He is not, there's no rebuke of this type of language. I've heard him go on other podcasts and say, you can come on and you can say the N-word. And then, of course, he did what he did to me. One of the hosts of this show, here's what I don't get, is one of the guys who came after me the hardest for saying the N-word. So now we're in these camps. And now, apparently, it's cool to say the N-word. I get told all the time by the people who do like me, you know, not those guys, but the people who do like me, you're just ahead of your time, Jesse. That's all it is. And I hate hearing that. It sounds so gay. You know, I'm not fucking Van Gogh. You know, I mean, I'm going to die penniless, that's for sure. But I'm not sitting here, you know, on the bleeding edge of comedy or anything. But I have to think, you know, with things like this whole N-word debacle, I certainly wasn't the only guy saying it, but things like this, I keep seeing this pattern with me where I do a thing 3 years later, everyone's cool with it. But back then, it was the worst. Dick Masterson, his guy Tab Burt, who does this podcast. Of course, Nick Rekieta, as I call him, one of our other goons. You know him as the internet's lawyer. They were all against me on this. I mean, famously, Nick Rekieta I made this video about him. You guys know this. I exposed him as having done blackface because he said this about me. Here you go.
George Maddox, buddy.
George Maddox,
Defamation is only defamation if it's not true.
Right.
Everything sent to Harry's was true.
Harry's was a sponsor of the podcast network I was on. Maddox was the leader of that podcast network. No longer the case, but he's talking about me right here.
Someone on your network dropped the M-bomb on live air, and last I checked, we live in an age where that's not okay.
I'll never forget these. I want to call them lyrics.
Or not, people are getting crucified.
And there he is. So there's Nick in blackface. I mean, I made this whole thing happen. Everybody knows Nick wore blackface now. You know what? But here's the crazy thing about that. Nick, he just went through that like water off a duck's back. It was no big deal to him. I got to be honest. He handled it pretty cool. Like, I ruined his life for a few months. For a few months, and I think even today, if you Google Nick Rekieta, the first thing that comes up, maybe the second thing, was him in blackface, and he hated it. But now he's had his black friend, who he was dressed up as, come out and say, nah, man, nah, homie, it was cool. You're allowed to say it. You got the N-word pass. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen all these YouTube videos now where a black guy goes around handing out N-word passes, and he's like, come on, man, say it. And he doesn't beat up the guy afterwards. He's like, it's love. We're ending racism. You know what I mean? It's not everybody. And there's people who are going to be mad at me for even claiming this. Of course, I would never say otherwise. All I'm saying is there's a faction of people that are different than they were 3 years ago who now are cool with the N-word and this type of stuff because you have to be. You have to be a free speech guy. Now, completely disconnected from that, just completely unrelated, I keep getting banned on Twitter. You know, I'm banned on the internet constantly, and so I had to come up with a new Twitter handle. So a little while ago, I changed my Twitter handle to, I figured, you know what? Just go all out. Make it the worst thing you can do. So I made it the N-word. Now, I didn't make it the actual word, you know. I didn't make it that. I made it the N-word. And you know what I've noticed from this? No one cares. In fact, you're allowed to say it on Twitter. You're more likely to get kicked off of Twitter for saying retard than you are for actually spelling out the N-word. And lo and behold, I do this. You know, I come out there and I go, I'm at the N-word now. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at the N-word. And all of these guys who were once against me, they now support me. They actually endorse me, and they want you to follow me on Twitter. It's the craziest thing.
The N-word.
The N-word.
The N-word.
The N-word.
The N-word.
The effing N-word.
The N-word is coming, and it's coming hard.
The N-word.
The N-word.
The N-word. The N-word.
I can't say the N-word.
The N-word guy on Twitter.
A dumb pile of garbage named Jesse, piece of shit, say the N-word on his podcast.
I'm going to say the N-word. No.
So there you go. You got Steven Crowder endorsing it. You've got Bill Burr endorsing it. And then, of course, you've got Dick Masterson, Revenge of the Sis. You've got Nick Rekieta, big time in there, all endorsing the N-word. So many people are behind me. It's unreal. Joe Rogan was in that clip. H3H3 podcast was in that clip. Even Maya Angelou from Beyond the Grave. You know, she died of AIDS. Poor Maya Angelou. She came back from the grave to say, I support the N-word. And you should follow him on Twitter. So now I don't know what to think about these guys anymore. Are they hypocrites? Should I just go along with it? Should I roll with it? You know, I talked to Nick Rekieta, and the craziest thing is, like I said, he might be a lot cooler than we thought. I mean, I still consider him a goon, but I'm going to explain to you in this episode how we went from making fun of Nick behind his back to him now agreeing to come on the show. I've got an amazing gift I want to give Nick. He's going to come on a future episode of this show. He's going to be a guest on this. This is real. And I'm going to explain to you how Nick Rekieta actually became my personal friend, my maybe biggest supporter, and also my lawyer. But this episode is, unfortunately, Pizza Fund only. You gotta join. We built our own Patreon because Dick Masterson didn't like the N-word 3 years ago. We had to build our own Patreon, so now we've got the Pizza Fund. And if you want to watch this full episode, it's in the $12 level and up over at podawful.pizza. Everybody's joining it. Everybody loves it. I hope you'll watch the full episode because this is going to be very important. This is a big setup. You know, somebody was asking, I don't really know this Nick Rekieta thing too much. Can I get the preface for this? Can I get whatever the info is on this guy? Well, this is the show. This is the preface for that upcoming episode. You're going to want to see this one. So join at podawful.pizza.
podawful.pizza.
And I love, my favorite thing now is, because my handle is at the N-word, I've forced my enemies to make a choice. They either have to promote my Twitter name or actually say the real N-word. Like, you know, hard R it. You've got two choices now, okay? Freeze, mister. If you want to pass by here, you've either got to say it with a mean look on your face, or you got to pay the toll, and the toll is free promotion for me. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. When people type the N-word into the search bar on Twitter now, I come up. I'm now one of the results, okay? So if you say it in any context, I've now forced you to promote me. But Dick Masterson's got no problem with that. No problemo at all, my friend. No, 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 no. Dick wants to say the N-word. He's dying to say it. In fact, 2 episodes ago on his show, he was on a real tear about it, a real Adam Carolla style tear. If you've ever listened to the Adam Carolla show, just imagine this is Adam Carolla, slightly angrier. It's the same fucking shit, man. And a lot of people want to dismiss anything I have to say about Dick by saying, I don't care, he makes me laugh. Does he? He's funny? Okay, well, I could have sworn I saw the roast of Dick Masterson, but I don't know. Let's hear this wildly hilarious take he's got on people getting microchipped because of the coronavirus.
Now I'm getting microchips implanted under my skin. Bill
Here we go. This is the part, okay? This is what we're looking for.
Gates microchips, you know, and here's what makes me rage about it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Here's what makes him a rage.
This is what makes me rage about it. I do not want anything implanted into my body until the N-word is safe to say in every capacity. Until the nightly news opens with "What's up?" Until the nightly news
Whoa, Sean really loves this N-word. So again, it's cool saying it now.
opens up with "What's up, my N-words?" I am not getting shit implanted into my body, because the second I say, "Can you say the N-word on Xbox?" No, then Bill Gates is not getting anywhere in my body, period.
Now, I get his point. Okay, I'm no retard. I get it. We're living in a dark future, man. It's going to be, at a certain point, they're going to check your tweet history for you to be able to open your refrigerator. All right? Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted crushed ice? Well, what did you say in 2008? you would kill your child if he turned out gay. I'm sorry, we can't be crushing your ice today. You're getting just a full cube. Just the shape of the glass is going to be entirely filled with ice so that you can't fill it with liquid. That's your life now. I mean, you're talking about a world where like people get in trouble for what their dad said sometimes. You know, celebrities have gotten in trouble for things that their parents used to say. Imagine that fucking dark future. where you can't get a job now because your dad was racist. Oh, what a 90-year-old man one time said that he wishes maybe an Asian lady wasn't on the road. Well, I'm sorry, you can no longer work here at Staples. How is Staples still open in the dark future? I don't know, probably a government subsidy. So I get the point. You don't want to have anything that could possibly track you as being a bad wordsman. But all that means is, think of the implication here, all that means is Dick, in his private life, is sometimes not saying the phrase the N-word. Okay? Now, I don't know if he goes hard R or not. He looks like the type of fella who might go hard R. You know, I mean, loud is funny after all. So I think he may be saying the full deal. I think he may go in the whole PewDiePie, the whole kit and caboodle. But that is what the implication is. He's worried that he'll be tracked as an N-word guy. I mean, he runs the website that lets you make money saying the N-word. That's New Project 2, so you can't have a chip inside you if that's going to be the case, right?
That's, you know what? I'm fine with that policy.
As soon as Chase says, this is from the real OGs at Chase Bank. What's up, my N-word? Every single piece of spam, yo N-word. Then it's safe to start putting stuff in my body.
Yeah.
Until we're done, nickel.
By the way, I mean that would be a cool like let's actually do something funny instead of just scream and be mad. And let's imagine the reality where you go to the bank and they're like, yo, what's up, my N-word? Number one, it would be a much more welcoming place for bank robbers. So I think that would be a cool world. I think it's probably a world we're headed to. I'm kind of thinking 2020. It is now cool to say it. So I think we're getting closer and closer. All music is now rap music. So yeah, why not? I have, in New York, I've walked into a fast food restaurant where they did greet you that way. You can go into any Checkers in New York. Do you guys know what Checkers is? If you're on the other side of the country, you might call it Rallies. You can walk into Checkers in anywhere in New York City, and they'll be like, yeah, welcome to Checkers. How can I help you? You're like, excuse me? I'm a white guy. You still call me that, huh? All right, well, I guess I'll have the Big Buford. Yeah, all right. Hang on a second. I got to talk to my fellow employees for about 20 minutes while ignoring you. Oh, okay. Well, you did call me the N-word. I feel pretty cool now, so I guess I'll let you get away with it without screaming, without making this a real falling down situation. Why can't I get any goddamn service from these N-words working behind the counter? I've been here for 15 minutes, and all you've done is run your goddamn mouths. I mean, I thought this was called the service industry. How do you call that service? Huh? My knee.
Sorry, nigga. This content right here is Pizza Fun's own.
Pineapple dot pizza.
This shit is beefer.
Pineapple dot pizza.
We got shooters in these streets.